Please welcome Erika Ender, singer-songwriter, and MSNBC's Mariana Atencio.
Can everyone hear us? Yes? All right. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. What an honor to be here at the Social Good Summit launching United Nations Week. Welcome to our conversation with philanthropist and international music sensation, Erika Ender.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So happy to be here, so honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Erika. Now, I'd like to begin briefly by introducing myself. I'm a Peabody Award-winning journalist, a national correspondent for NBC News, the only Latina at the network level, born and raised in Latin America. But I always say, thank you. I always say that in essence, I'm a storyteller. I've been all over the world to places as different and distant as Mexico, Haiti, Hong Kong, the Syrian border, talking to all sorts of people. And soon enough, you start seeing patterns. And you start realizing that the best stories, the ones that really tug at your heartstrings, are the stories of people going against unsurmountable odds to do good, to improve the lives of those around them, to give the next generation a better chance at life. And one of those voices is Erika Ender. She literally and figuratively promotes positive change. Just to give you a little background on Erika, even though she needs no introduction, she is the only Hispanic female songwriter that has ever reached #1 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart with a Spanish language song. The youngest member inducted into the Hispanic Songwriter Hall of Fame. She's won a Latin Grammy, a Latin Billboard, Monitor Latino, among many other awards. Just to give you an idea, Erika's songs are featured in 160 international albums. And she's now tied with Mariah Carey as the female songwriter with the longest running #1 hit of all time. So it is clear that Erika's rise to the top is the opposite of Despacito, right? She is, without a doubt, one of the most successful and acclaimed songwriters in the industry. But what is fascinating about Erika is that her rise to the top isn't really what makes her stand out. If you get to know her, as I have briefly and as you will today, and throughout her many interviews and conversations, you quickly realize that Erika's vision and determination lies in using her career and her music to make our world a better place and to actually improve people's lives. So I'd like our conversation today to be focused on 3 points. The first one is your values, Erika, and how you began to want to improve the lives of those around you. The second point will be your success and your foundation. And the third one, for all of you who are here and all of you watching at home online, how can we learn from you? How can we get inspired and use creativity the way you do to instill change? So let me begin with values. The second I got to know you over the phone and in person today, I could tell that you have such a strong foundation, strong family values, a strong multicultural upbringing. Tell me a little bit about that. The Erika who, as a child at home, just received so many of these strong values.
I got lucky, you know? I really got lucky because my parents are amazing people, and I say this from a very humble
Mom and Pop,
part of my,
I hope you're watching.
of my
Yes.
heart, yes. My mom is so spiritual. My dad is, I mean, the kindest person I know. And they teach me something when they knew that they couldn't control me because I wanted to go out there and share my music with the world. My mom told me, you know what, you got a talent. And you got to use that talent for the good. You got to be responsible with everything you do. And that's what I've done my whole life because she taught me that. So every time I write a song, I write it with the responsibility of knowing that I'm gonna mark a moment of someone else's life, that I'm creating the soundtrack of someone else's life. And I'm as conscious and as careful as I can doing that. Even though if it's a song, you know, to have fun, the message has to be positive, constructive, classy, you know, taking care, in this case, for example, Despacito, taking care of women, putting them as us, as the work of art we are, not being aggressive with us, like other urban songs, for example, that are very aggressive. Yeah, exactly. And that's one example, but to tell you the truth, later I'm gonna sing a couple of songs that are very important for me that have strong messages and are how I see life. And you're gonna get to see the literal translation because I'm gonna sing in Spanish. But for me, it's very important to open, to be the voice of consciousness, you know, for people to understand that through music is such a powerful tool. And we have to be responsible. We have to be compromised in everything we do because we can really change the world with that, among other tools, of course.
So you believe that education is really one of the most important tools to shape our world. Tell me how you've combined music to promote actual change in the school system in Panama. Tell us about your foundation.
Yeah, using music to do good. You know, as a vehicle to do good, being creative, trying to see how music becomes a catch. For example, Fundación Puertas Abiertas, which is a foundation that I founded in Panama in 2009, though we've been doing social work for my whole life because my mom and my dad used to do that and teach us to do that, my sister and me. Fundación Puertas Abiertas started working through music with eradication of child labor, and nowadays I have this big festival that has different categories where each one of them...
It's like a music competition.
It's kind of like a music competition, but it has documentaries as well. So you teach kids like to use their cell phones instead of going into social media and other things. You teach them to do good. They do documentaries on a social problem. It's showing us the problem, the process to make it, to solve it, and the solution. Even though if they can do and make the solution happen, or if they propose a solution. And besides that, what we're doing is trying to use education mixed with music and trying to reach 5 different branches, you know, which are education, because everyone that wins the competition on their category, they got full scholarships in order to follow up their dreams in whatever they want to study. You know, they have their full university covered, completely covered within Panama or abroad. Besides that, during the competition, they're exposing their art in their different categories, but at the same time, as they got to shine nationwide, they have to activate their schools, and they have to do social labor towards a school that is in a vulnerable situation. So we're rebuilding 12 schools in Panama this year throughout the country with the same leaders that are exposing their talent.
So you're using social media, music, this reality show kind of world that we live in now, and promoting actual change in every single one of these schools. The kids are the ones actually promoting the change.
And planting the seed of values, because they don't only do this to have extra points. They're going to be qualified by their talent, but they're going to have extra points to whatever they do as, social labor, for social responsibility. But throughout that, we do workshops in order to give them values and tools for their integrity, in order to be as good as they can as persons.
That's a show that I want to see on network television, don't you guys? It's absolutely fascinating.
That's Talempro, and it's going to be out there on October 29th. And you're all invited if you want to go to Panama.
It's called Festival Talempro. It literally means talento con propósito.
Talent with a purpose, yes.
Exactly. Tell me, you've become sort of what we call profeta en tu tierra, no? A prophet in your own land. You're the most famous Panamanian woman, by far.
Thank you.
How do you sort of keep growing and keep sort of giving back as you get more and more famous, world-renowned?
I think it's a duty as a human being. I think we're artists. We're people before being artists. We have to focus on what we are, all of us. We have to focus on what we are. I think that right now, society, it's focused on the opposite way. We're like, what I have gives value to what I am. And I think we're so wrong because we need to understand who we are, what we want to do in this life, what is our talent, why are we here? Why can we leave behind, And then after we communicate with our inner self and we're happy with ourselves, then we start being empathetic with others. And then we find whatever we want to do to have whatever we want to have. It's not the other way.
So 2 more quick questions before we wrap. You believe that there is an artistic fiber in everyone. For those people who are here in person or for those people watching online, how can we follow your example in terms of using our own creativity to promote positive change?
I don't see myself as an example.
You are an example. I'm sorry to tell you.
Thank you so much for that. But I do think that I'm an ordinary person that every single day wakes up trying to give the best of herself. And I think that's something we all can do. So we are all artists because when we're born as kids, we have this big imagination, and that's part of being an artist. So whenever we connect with our inner child, I think that we can really reach unimaginable things.
So connect with our inner child.
Always. Keep the inner child, always. That's what I've done. I've been, trying to accumulate as much experience as I can as an artist, but at the same time, always keeping the inner child within me, because that's what motivates me. That's what makes me see the world with bright eyes.
My last question, before we get to the performance, because I know we're all excited about that. As a woman, and as women in media, we get judged on our looks, on our demeanor, on our appearance. You are a woman that seems so comfortable in your own skin, larger than life, every time I see you. Has it always been that way?
I think that it has a lot to do with how your parents show you self-esteem. Whenever you are comfy with yourself, everything is different. But to tell you the truth, I got a lot of bullying in the school because of my hair. They used to call me microphone, mop, and everything. And there is something that my mom taught me back at that time when I went to school once, and there was this boy that was always, with the bullying thing. And she told me, you know what? Whenever you see him and he tells you something bad, answer with something good. Look for whatever he has good, and that's going to be your weapon. And let me know how it goes. So I go to school, and he goes like, microphone, mop. And I go like, you know what? I think you're so smart. I wish I was as smart as you are in math. And he goes like, really? We were like 9 years old. And that changed my life. And I won a friend from then on. So that helped me. So parents have a lot of responsibility. And I think that instead of, looking for more money out there and more, trying to have a more comfy life, we should try to give our kids the best we can from whatever we are, not from what we can buy for them.
I know you want to close our session today by performing 2 songs, because music is really your vehicle for change and inspiration. Erika will be performing Por Qué, a song about a kid growing up in the streets without any love or food or shelter. And then you'll play Todos Somos Iguales, which is a song about everyone being equal and how we can unite our world. But before we give way to the performance, I want to thank you, not only for our time today, but for showing us that women in entertainment, Latin American women from our region, from our part of the world, we can be something to be looked up to, and we can instill positive change. You are such a force, and I know you are just beginning to take off. Somos una gente de cambio, una fuerza poderosísima, and you are a vivid example of that every single day of your life. So thank you so much, Erika.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. Thank you.